Morning, everyone, and welcome back to Twisted Shadow. So today was self-care and remembering that was pulled, and it really has to do with realigning and balancing priorities. So I'll read each one first. Self-care. If not me, then who? To tend to a wholeness in parts in which surrender thy pulse for a heart that's nearer than any other. Remembering. Oh, how thy glimpse glimmer in the darkest of sights, never forgotten, never still, yet pacing in the mind in the twilight of night. So, when I think about realignment and balancing priorities, especially where I'm at and what I'm doing, and I know that there are several other people that I know that have been working on some really big transformative work, and some of it's shadow, but most of it's different kinds of spell work and different kinds of skills that we're acquiring, building. And so we talk a lot about clearing and making room for all these new things that are coming in, for our rebirths, for our transformations. But I realize we don't really talk about the after. So think of it like an altar. You have this big altar space, you've got all this stuff on it, and you got a bunch of new pieces, and it's time to, take out some of the old, freshen up the altar, and put our new pieces on. And there are two ways we can do this. We can either take out all the stuff that, needs to go, clear what doesn't need to be on there anymore. And then we can just stuff all our new stuff on there. So this is more of a chaotic kind of a way of setting your altar, where we're just exchanging pieces, but we're not really reworking or resetting the altar as a complete thing. When we do this, it kind of becomes cluttered. The energies don't flow exactly the way that we want. Things get lost. Some of our priorities may get lost. Some of our focus on self-care and making sure that, we're doing those self-care aspects while we're transforming, and while the space is transforming, while new energies are being brought in. A lot of times we get really excited about the work, or really excited about the skill that we're learning. And so we stay really focused there, and we lose sight of some of the other things that are our day-to-day, especially practice, day-to-day devotion, just dependent on what that looks like for you. So the other way that you set the altar, when you're taking into account realignment and balancing priorities, at that point you clear the altar completely. You take everything down, you clean it, and then you look at every single piece. You've already cleared the pieces that aren't going to go on. You're only looking at the pieces that are going in now. And so as you're looking at each piece and deciding where it's going to go on the altar, we're thinking about, how does this work together? What should I put next to what? How do I want the energy to flow? What do I want the visualization to be? And so we're consciously thinking about, how we want to realign the altar. We need to do the same things within ourselves. We focus so much on clearing, we don't really focus enough on organizing as we're bringing in new. And so today, that's going to be my focus. I'm going to focus on, not what needs to be cleared, that's already been done. This is about realigning and balancing and making sure that with the new skill, or skills that I'm learning, and that I'm this transformation I'm going through. I need to make sure that I don't lose sight of the other priorities, the things that are staying, that didn't get cleared, and then realigning these new energies so everything flows well instead of a chaotic mess that I'll have to deal with later. And you will have to deal with that chaotic mess later. If we ignore it long enough, it will blow up on us. So take that time. Take that time to realign things as you're bringing in new. How do we do this? How do we want it to look? How do we want it to flow? What are the priorities for us? These are all questions to be asking today, especially if you're doing any type of transformative work or new skill building. All right, I will talk to you later.